Hello, everybody. Let me move my mic here. Hello, everybody. My name is TheGreatRedWelshDragon, and we hit 100 subscribers. My first milestone. I honestly never thought I would make it, even to this many people. I'm mind blown that 100 people saw me and took the time to hit the subscribe button because for whatever reason you guys wanted to see me. And unfortunately, why am I talking like that? Let's back it up a little bit. I hit 100 subscribers. I am breathtaking. Okay? No words can comprehend how shocked I am about this. Unfortunately, I will not be doing a game in celebration of this 100 subscriber milestone. Let me stress it out. I never thought I would get here. I think I'm getting a little too cocky. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing for this video is I wanted to talk with you guys specifically. And there's been a few things that I've been wanting to talk about regarding my YouTube channel for a pretty long time. First of all, what is there to be first with? First of all, I've been saying I want to get this out of the way. First of all, I've been saying for a few videos in my past that I want to create a schedule for making videos and uploading on a daily basis. I want that. Honestly, I would love nothing better than to do that. But right now, the story behind this is that I can't. It is impossible for me to do so. Not because I don't want to. Believe me, I think I have my shirt on backwards. Or not backwards, inside out. But what I can't do is do daily videos. I can get recorded videos ready and then post them when I have the time. Not from my phone, because for a period of time I did Android games, which I still want to do. I still want to. Which I'm going to keep doing. But I can't do it daily. I can't do videos daily. And the problem for this is my daily life. And long story short, I'm still in school. Granted, this is a very special school, and as much as I don't want to be in it, or I probably shouldn't say that, because it's just tolerable, if that's even a word. It's just something to do at this point. And it's keeping a lot of problems off my plate by going. That's the only reason I'm still there. I've been told I can drop out at any time, but I'm staying in because if I dropped out right now, there'd be a few problems that I'd have to overcome. And for those of you who know me personally, which is about less than 5 people, you probably know those problems, and if you really thought about it, you'd probably really know those problems. That's not why I'm here. So, point being, instead of saying that I'm going to try and create a schedule for daily uploads and for future uploads, I'm going to do what I intended my channel to do, for I want to do what I want. So I'm going to upload whenever I can, as much as possible. And I'm throwing in that last bit because there has been a time, if you go back into the history of my videos, you can see one video sitting right next to another, whichever way it may be for you, where you see a big time gap of where I just did nothing on YouTube. I literally did nothing. And the reason for that being is because I wanted to be like other people. I wanted to have my own setup like I have right now. And I wanted to be able to do what I want. Back then, I was still able to do what I wanted, but I was limited by a very large amount. If you guys don't know already, I recorded a lot of things on my iPad. It wasn't technically mine, it was the family's iPad, which is even a bigger setback because what can I do on there? I don't know where I was going with this. The point being that I had an iPad at the time and I was very set back in what I was able to do. And that's all that's need to be said right there. Spoken English. Alright, next thing I want to talk about, because I kind of lost my train of thought, I'm just going to move on. I want to add more to the channel. And I want to try and do things I like. Like on a personal level, I want to try and do things I like. Lately, I've been thinking about starting... Let me back up a little bit. I have been told by multiple people, including myself, I've been told I am obsessed with the card game known as Yu-Gi-Oh! I am completely obsessed. I love it so much to the point where I've come up with situations in my head. Most people, if not none of you know about this, but I've created situations in my head where I would give my life for my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and that's a terrifying thing to say, especially on the internet. But I am truly obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and to even push more insult to injury, I would either want to be burned with or buried with my cards, or at least my decks. That is how obsessed I am, and I regret nothing about it. The comment section is for you guys to judge all you want. So let me show you right now my obsession. Now keep in mind when you see this, I was limited by money for a very long period of time. I was given money, and then now I'm at another setback. But I'm coming up with alternatives like I never did in the first setback. So, actually, I'm not going to show you over there. I'm just going to kind of bring this over here. Okay, so what I want to show you, I'm actually going to bring these two. Okay, what I want to show you guys is, pardon me, what I've actually come up with in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Life. And my most, give me a minute. I need to get card sleeves for that deck. Okay, so, right here is a Dragon Shield deck box. One of my personal favorites. The deck box is one of my personal favorites. The deck inside is, drum roll, is actually my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Yes. Blue Eyes White Dragon. I love Blue Eyes White Dragon. I love the way this deck works, and even with Link format, I love the way this deck just specifically works. Now, this is technically a, let me get to it. This deck is actually a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck. Not just a Blue Eyes deck. But I love it. I really do. Blue Eyes just works so well for me, and I love it. My friends, Blue Eyes is probably the most powerful deck I have out of the ones I have, depending on what I'm facing, obviously. But in general, with my friends, this is probably the most powerful deck I have. And the reason I say that is because my friends have gotten very upset with me on countless occasions. Am I saying that right? I don't know. But they've gotten upset with me multiple times because for days, even for weeks, I'd be bugging them every single day. Hey, you want a duel? Hey, you want a duel? And I want a duel as much as possible. That's my thing of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's even pushing more into the fact that I am obsessed. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how much I bug my friends over like, hey, you want a duel? But unfortunately, most of my friends, they play Yu-Gi-Oh! I have a few friends who play Yu-Gi-Oh! And there is nothing I would change. Okay, there's a few things I would change. But right now, if I was like put in the situation, okay, change one thing in your life and everything else will stay the same, I would not change the way they duel or the decks they play. I would only go to them and help them improvise their decks. Because number one, they have a good theme, but the consistency is a little off. And I speak for one of my friends on that. One is kind of a weird rival. I don't know what the situation is with him. And then another friend, consistency isn't a problem. It's just, with all of them, the way they duel. Like I just taught them in the last month or so, I just taught them about chains and the spell speeds. This is another deck in a deck box with my Blue Eyes. Yes, don't judge me. Okay, so it's the way they play. They play with summoning sickness, and that's what I'm going to break it down to. I'm not going to go into detail, because like I said, I would not change of how they play. I just want to help them improve, and I don't know how I can do that other than tell them how to improve. And to me, I just feel like a douchebag in doing so, so I just never do. But they play with summoning sickness. That's what I'm going to leave it at. There's always room for improvement, even in me. Continuing on with the collection. This is my Dark Magician deck. And it is exactly as I say. Because with Blue Eyes, it was a Blue Eyes Chaos Max deck. This is a Dark Magician deck. A pure Dark Magician deck. And in this, I actually have a Proxy Dragon and a Decode Talker, which I'm not sure why. I think I actually meant to change that out at some point. But yes, it is a pure Dark Magician deck. My camera will not focus on it, but that's okay. Pardon me. This deck has a spellbook engine. For example, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. It has one copy of that. 2 copies of Spellbook of Secrets and 2 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. That is the entire spellbook engine to this deck. It works pretty well. Consistency is a little problem, but when you pull the right cards at the right time, it is overpowered. Especially with Dark Magical Circle just released. It probably wasn't just released, but I got it in this box. This is not a sponsored video. So that's actually the box I keep all my decks in. And a few spare cards here and there. But that's okay. I might show all my decks off to you. I will. Why not? This right here looks like a normal set of playing cards. Because it's not. This is actually my cubic deck. Technically not mine. Just some dude's deck. That's all I'm going to leave it at. I did not steal it. I paid for this with my own money, apparently. And got the deck. Long story. If anyone wants an explanation, then, comment that you want an explanation, and I will happily give you an explanation. Yeah. The other deck that's in the Dragon Shield deck box, the other one is actually a Divine Dragon Lord Felgrind Dragoonity deck. Or what I like to call the first turn Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon deck. And that is very self-explanatory if you guys don't know what that card is. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, he's a beast. And I do recommend you get him and find a good way to summon him. He's just a monster. I wish I had multiple copies. Well, technically I do. But I'm very, like I said, the obsession kind of beats itself over. So, Dark Magician, we have Dark Magician, we have Cubics, we have Blue Eyes, we have Felgrind Dragoonity. We also have a deck box with 2 decks in it. Very fat. I think this deck box was actually meant for Magic, but that's a whole different topic right there. This deck on top is a Dino deck. Sounded like a big explosion or a big fart. Anyway, this deck was built on a budget. For it only has 3 cards in the extra deck. I do run Lost World with the tokens. I do have a Mad Flame Kaiju in this deck. I run Giant Rex. I got that out of, what was it, Battles of Legend, I believe? Got a shitload of those packs, whatever they were called. I have a Jirak Ilio, however you pronounce his name. He's just adorable, and I have him only for Black Rose, which was in the 5Ds card sleeve you guys saw. I keep triple Megalo Smasher X in there only because I'm running a Rescue Rabbit, which I probably should run a second one because it's so good for getting out Dolka or Lagia, which are the other 2 cards in the extra deck. But I'm not focused around spamming out the extra deck. I'm focused around getting my ace, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, who is the monster of monsters when it comes to dinosaurs. God, I don't know. To me, he's ban list worthy. Hit him down to 2. That is my opinion right there. He's just, he wrecks everything. For a very long period of time, I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and the decks I tried making weren't competitive at all. In fact, I was losing every duel I was playing. And then, the day came where I started taking advice from, shout out to another friend, his name in this video for privacy reasons will be Bob. Bob, I met in, I think, the freshman year of high school. Freshman or sophomore, I don't remember. But I met him there, and turns out he was part of a big Yu-Gi-Oh club. Like, the biggest I've ever seen, that being the first. So I'm like, hey, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me hit some of this up too. And he happily accepted me in, and to this day, I still keep in contact with him, and he's helped me realize a few things throughout the decks. He helps me get around some cheap slots, and he's the one Yu-Gi-Oh! Player in my life right now that I cannot beat. I've beat him only once or twice, and it was because of a bad hand or that I summoned my Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. 2 victories, and those are the reasons. But big shoutouts to Bob for, he helped me so much. Okay, moving on. The deck right behind the Dino deck, since this is a 2 deck box, I play my own version of Light Sworns. I do only have 1 Minerva, and I plan to keep it as such because this is not a competitive deck. However, I do have a plan to go into a competitive manner with these Light Sworns. I don't want to go into it. This is kind of the last deck I would ever go competitive with. But it's pretty standard. I have a few weird things here and there, like I couldn't come up with anything better, so I run, I think, triple copies? Maybe, yes, triple copies of Grand Horn of Haven. Probably Heaven. Grand Horn of Heaven. And if you guys don't know what that card does, I'm not going to go into its effects because I'm too lazy. I do have a Soul Charge. I do have Denko Sekka. I run a Burden of the Mighty. Don't know how many copies. Again, budget. My own version. I have a few Fiendish Chains in here. I have a Torrential Tribute, Pot of Duality. It took me a while to get the triple Judgment Dragon, but when I got him, this deck became so much better. If you're even on a budget for Light Sworns, I do recommend 3 Judgment Dragons. So that's it for that deck box, which covers the first box of deck boxes, which is what this box looks like. Look. What did I tell you? Okay. So for this next deck, from the moment I started watching the show, I wanted to build the deck in a competitive manner, and Maxie got hit hard. I was not happy about that. But I finally did the deck. I don't think I've edited it. I have a Toon deck, which I don't see many people running, and I have no idea why. I could probably come up with a reason, because all other meta decks right now are just spam, 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 and destroy. But yes, I have a Link format Toon deck, and I actually run a Field Barrier, and I'm open and honest with you guys right now. This deck is illegal to play. And why, do you ask? Because I run Japanese versions of Toon Kingdom. This card is the biggest Toon douchebag you will ever see in your life. If I had English versions, I could play this against my buddy Bob. But for now, I have to resist the urge to beg, which is what I do a lot. This was built not too long ago, actually. If I had to give a time base, I'd say I probably built this deck not even 3 months ago, maybe even 2. But this deck was actually very budget friendly. I think I only paid $5, maybe $10 building this Toon deck. And I kind of There was an extra deck. This is, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. 8 cards in the extra deck. And if I use any cards in the extra deck at all, it's going to be just one or the other. The only ones I've been using is Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon and number 11 Big Eye. That's kind of the only ones I've ever used. And there's Ling monsters in here, Decode and Proxy. But I just never needed it. I don't spam out the extra deck with tunes. I find it unnecessary. If I wanted a tune deck and I wanted it to run a certain way, I wanted it to focus around tunes, and I got that on a very budget friendly. So, tune deck. This next deck is not complete. The cards are on the way to complete it, but it is currently incomplete. I have, which I just came up with about 2 weeks ago. Was it? Maybe 3 weeks. Time Lord. And they are as big as of a douchebag as they look. This deck is all about stalling enough to burn your opponent to death. And I'm only slightly exaggerating on that. I do have some good Time Lords in here. I built what I could on my own and then got some help from friends. I have Lazion, triple Lazion, if I'm even saying that right. Triple Camion, triple Zaphion. I only run double Sadion because his effect is only for emergencies. And you cannot have a Time Lord deck without Time Maiden. She's like the heart and soul, if it even has a gender. But those, also, the other Time Lord that I'm not mentioning, I don't have it. It's in the mail, and it's on the way. How do you pronounce his name? It's like Medeon or something. But he has a pretty good effect. My friends recommended I run 2. And this deck, if I get the cards, it's going to be a 40-card deck, so I'm going to stick with 2 for now. But if I ever get the money, I'm going to get a third and run a 41-card deck because his effect is just so good. But, this is main deck. I'm running 2 Gamma Seals and some Card D. It is an illegal deck for February and forward because there's a Max C in there. Like I said, just kind of stall your way to victory and then burn your opponent to death. So, Time Lord deck. The next 2... This next deck, I want to run only because it is Cyber Dragon, and I love dragons, if you guys can't tell by this YouTube channel name. I run Cyber Dragons. The card sleeves are a little big, but I never really got around to changing those because I never had the money, and I'm not too upset by that. This deck was actually built on a triple... What was it? You stay still. Triple Legendary Dragon decks budget. It was built off of the triple Legendary Dragon decks budget. With a few hint of me in there. I have some Drowning Mirror Forces. I have a Galaxy Soldier, triple copy of course. Because you can't run that without Cyber Dragons. That's kind of it. I also have a Mirror Force in there. Very budget friendly. The extra deck, again, if you do, it's pretty self-explanatory. Chimera techs everywhere, literally. Cyber Twins, Cyber N, Novas, and Infinities. Cyber Dragons are probably the most common deck for anyone who wants to start competitive. But luckily, what am I talking about? It's not luckily. I'm just saying, Cyber Dragons was not the first deck I started with to be competitive. It was Blue Eyes. This next deck... this next deck is Odd Eyes. And on the front is a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I love this deck, but right now it is in the making even though it's playable. Because Skullcrat Joker being banned hit my heart, and I don't much appreciate it. So I had to edit it a little bit. I had some help with that. And I still don't want to play it until I have a good strategy, which I'm planning to get some Astrograph sorcerers, because I feel like that would make the deck a lot better. That being said, the other deck I have to show off that I want to show off is Monarchs. This was also made on a budget-friendly platform, if that even made sense, with a few hints of other random cards kind of thrown in there. I had some help with friends. Need I remind you? And if I wanted to, I could play around and be a douchebag if I wanted to. The only problem that I have with this deck is that I like, above anything else, if I can just open with Heavenly Squire, I'll be happy. Because that is it. If I can just open with her, that'd be fine. But yeah, Monarchs, no extra deck needed because it locks that down. Or it probably wouldn't let you even play cards. The only other deck I have of legal card play is one I'm looking at right now, and it is a Silent Swordsman deck that I built off of my free time. I built it myself with no help. I'm a big boy. But I built it kind of for fun. I'm not taking it to local tournaments. The last two decks I want to show you are decks I made. And when I say I made, I mean I made my own cards. That being, they don't exist in the real Yu-Gi-Oh world. So, I don't know if you guys have any interest in this. I built a archetype called Necromancer. And I regret nothing, because it's a bunch of anime cat girls. This next archetype, let me move the rubber band out of the way. This next archetype, I want to think of it as dragon-type zodiacs, which is kind of self-explanatory. Draken. I wanted the camera to focus in there. But, yeah, dragon-type zodiacs. I changed it up a little bit. The deck is freaking powerful. That is all the decks I have. And there is a lot in collection, for which I have yet to get any binders. The only other decks I can think of that I don't have right next to me right now, and that I'm too lazy to, go and get, is DDDs, and I want to build a deck, Goat Control, I believe it was called. It just seems like a good format to kind of lay back and play. Whew. My mouth actually got a little dry talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Scary. So, that is my obsession with Yu-Gi-Oh! And what I would like to do with this is somehow put this obsession to use on YouTube. If you guys have any suggestions of how I could do that, please comment it down below. Because with this many decks How many decks is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 legally playable decks that aren't like cards of creations of my own. That's 12 decks. I could have my own tournament with that, guys. My own fucking tournament. So if you guys have any suggestions of like what I can do on YouTube with Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you would want to see from me, by all means, comment. I'm here for your entertainment, and tell me what I can do to make this channel a better place to be. I also have a giant box. It's not giant in any way, shape, or form, so I don't know why I said it, but I have a box that I keep all card sleeves in, and like the plastic things that you keep around your Yu-Gi-Oh cards when you send them through the mail, because I got a lot of cards through mail. So, with that being said, 100 subscribers. Wow. Like, wow. Let's keep going. Next milestone will be 200. Let's make a milestone. And let's make this many milestones right now. Let's make this milestone. Next one is 200. Next is 300, 400, 500. And once we hit 500, if ever, I'm not expecting to. Let's go for whatever. I don't know. I've talked too much at this point. Again, if you guys want to see anything Yu-Gi-Oh related on my channel, please tell me. And I will indefinitely try my best to create what I can using what I have. So with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. 100 subscribers, wow. Wow. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This is the Great Red Welsh... The Great Red Welsh Dragon signing off for the night. Even though I'll be up watching YouTube. Bye-bye.